Welcome to If These Pages Could Talk. We are coming to you from around the world this time. We have lots of exciting things to talk about. How research for writing can take you across the world, writing suspense, and what kind of research might go into that. So first, I am Kiersten Marcil, author and adventure into history. I'm here with my co-host,
Sevannah, storm romance author.
And we are bringing you a friend from down under. So please introduce yourself.
Hi, my name is TC Correy, or in short Tanja. My last name is way too complicated. I'm originally from Switzerland, and I write thrillers, psychological thrillers, and domestic thrillers as well, but also medical thrillers, which is If Only He Never, which is published by Champagne Book Groups. And no, I don't know what else to say.
That's a good start. We'll keep you rolling.
Good.
Oh, I always like doing this because it just is amazing how many authors come from around the world with our publishing house. So I usually like to ask, what time is it where you are?
We are now in autumn, heading to winter.
Okay. And Sev?
We are sort of in winter. We've got sunny weather, so we got the fan on and the air conditioning on, but it's supposed to be winter. And it's 3 p.m.
3 p.m. What time is it where you are, Tanja?
11 p.m.
Okay. And I am here bright and not so sunny on 9 a.m. And it is spring, and it had been like nice and hot here. And now, of course, now that my vacation sabbatical is coming to an end, it's supposed to rain out and it's cold again and miserable. I know. Oh, poor me. And so it'll be gloriously sunny, I'm sure, once I go back to work. So, okay, cool. So my sort of warm-up question was going to be, and I don't know how I'm going to answer this. What is something unique to your home country that you just love?
As in Switzerland or Australia?
Actually, I'd love to hear both.
So what I love in both countries. Well, in Australia, it's the wildlife,
Okay,
which you don't really have anywhere else. I think. I mean, I don't know what it's like for Zev, but I mean, even here, I'm living pretty in, let's say, not in a city, but well-developed area, and I still have possums and cockatoos and stuff. Not everywhere, but they're there. Just on my back fence. Mostly each night I have a possum on the back fence, which is nice. So you don't just get it everywhere.
Yeah.
And Switzerland, I don't miss much about Switzerland, to be honest. The lakes. I do miss the lakes and the rivers. I do miss. I definitely don't miss the snow or anything like that. So yeah, I feel it's hard to explain. I was always meant to be in Australia, I think.
Yeah, your heart was born there.
I think so. Yes. I was always, yes. My parents knew since I was little that I would end up in Australia. And my mom is sitting next to me. She's looking at me like sort of, oh, yes, okay. I always knew that too.
Aw, hi, Mom. So how about you?
It's also the wildlife, but we have to go somewhere to see the wildlife. So I say that when a tiger and a lion roamed a couple of towns recently. But we usually have to travel about 4 hours to see wildlife. Well, our favorite place is Kruger National Park. And then, one holiday we saw over 500 elephants, and they're my favorite animal. And I love the way they rumble when they talk to each other. They rumble and they growl and they groan, and I just love it. So for me, it's the wildlife. Oh yeah, and the weather. We have epic weather.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I add that to it too.
Cool. It's funny, like our wildlife, when we have the big stuff wander through, we had a big brown bear at one point wandering through the city. We've had a moose which are amazing, cool animals, but they're kind of dangerous, so you don't want to go meet them.
They're pretty big.
They are, and they are a favorite from one of my sons, which actually kind of crept into my book as a little nod to him. I don't know how to actually see. I asked this question. I don't know how to answer it for myself. What's something unique to my country I love? I guess our history.
I was about to say that.
Surprise, yeah. Everybody's got their own special history, and I'm a descendant from people who settled Fort Orange, the Albany area. So maybe that's it. Maybe that's my answer for today. So okay, so we sort of hit this with you, Tanja. So you're not originally from Australia. How did you get there?
It was a long journey. I mean, I always wanted to be here since I was little. It wasn't so easy in the end. I had to find ways, as in, I found a loophole in the end, because I traveled first with my ex-partner in 96, and I was just so hooked by by Australia, and I wanted to be here no matter what. And I found migration agents, and they always said, just get married. And I was like, I'm not just want to get married to anyone, you know. And in the end, I found a migration agent, and then he said, there was a list. It's called an MODL list, where there's jobs on demand,
Okay.
and on there was a hairdresser. So I actually started hairdressing to end up in Australia. So that was my way in. Yeah.
Wow, that's really cool. Do you still do
But that
that?
was like 2-3 years. It was a long way to get there. So it was not just an overnight thing. You really it's similar to publishing a book. You got to find ways. How can you do it? How can you because I had skills as a web designer and graphic designer back from Switzerland, but that just changed when I came to Australia, where you had to have certificates. But I was in that area of web design and graphic, or specifically web design, before there was any course you could have. So I had no paperwork. Even though I was working in web design, I had no certificate to show that I was a qualified web designer, because back then, right at the beginning, there was no certificate. So I was, every way around, and made it.
Wow. Oh, good for you. That's fascinating. Does that help you as an author? Like, do you still do that? Did you design your own website?
I did my own website. Yes, I did. Yeah.
Very cool. Good for you.
Yeah. I did for a while. I mean, that was, I don't know how much you know about web design, but front page and all of that, that's all gone. It's all history. It's all different now. But I did my own website. Sevannah and I think we sort of had a good touch together in regards to the cover. She really understood me, and I think it was really great that we had the same language in regards to design of the cover. So I love the cover.
Yeah, Kiersten doesn't know I designed the cover.
I do now.
Yeah, you do now.
But you helped. We both did.
Yeah, we did.
I think it was really, we had the same
collaboration.
language. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it was really sort of And
it's a stunning cover.
It is.
I do. I love it. Yeah.
Do you happen to
talk the same language?
Do you happen to have a copy handy you can show us?
Yeah, sure. Of course I do. Alrighty.
Look at that cover. That's gorgeous.
It is. Yeah, no, I love it.
For people who are authors or writers and are curious, Sev, you want to tell us a little bit about how you two worked together to come up with that cover?
Well, we got the brief like normal. Tanja filled out the usual cover brief that she wanted, and my initial idea, I mean, it was the back of a man, if I remember correctly. Tanja, do you remember?
Yeah.
And then there was a silhouette of a woman. So his back faded into a street, and then there was a silhouette of a woman, and we couldn't get the silhouette right, no matter what we did. And in the end, I tried this one, and she mentioned a tunnel, and I Googled a tunnel, and we found pictures, and this just came together with the blue city. And there's even a chemical imprint over the cover. Yeah,
I don't know if it's how well it's visible on the cover.
You see there the little dots. Yeah, to signify that it's medical. So yeah, it was a collaboration and it came together beautifully.
It did. Nice
Mm.
job. I think
So
that's
I
one of
made it to number 5 in the cover design. Remember, Seth?
that's awesome. Good for you. That's one of the cool things about CBG that I don't think other authors get to experience is we all fill out a worksheet with ideas and describe our characters and themes, and we get so much say into our covers. It's really cool. Okay, well then, since we kicked it off, Tanja, why don't you tell us about your book?
It's about Curtis, who, in short, he's carrying this solution to prevent cancer in his veins. And there is a scientist who doesn't want the world to know what he actually has. So he actually wants him dead. If I say too much, I would actually give the story away as such, but there is a very good reason what this scientist is actually hiding. And it's how am I going to say that? Curtis isn't who he thinks he is. Let's put it that way. So during the story, he's actually finding out secrets about himself that he never knew until he meets that woman Laura, who actually gives him all the secrets and stuff that he develops what he actually is.
Very cool.
So it's a bit of like a Bourne story. Do you know Jason Bourne? Those Jason Bourne books? Yeah, it's a bit like that. Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
And it's pretty full of conspiracies as well.
We're going to talk about that. I'm looking
Yeah,
forward to
I know that. Yeah. Let's put it that one very interesting thing. What I had was I've written this book before COVID, and it was under contract with CBG before COVID. But a lot of it in there actually is what actually happened, as in regards to vaccines and all of that sort of stuff. So it's an interesting thing.
Timing, that's crazy. So when did you start writing it then?
I have to go back into the thing. It was about 2 years before COVID when I started writing it.
Yeah, that long
so
journey.
it's really weird that a lot of things that pharmaceutical, if I can say that in an interview without being slangy. It's got a lot to do with pharmaceuticals trying to make money. And they don't want people to heal. And they want people sick, simple as that. So in my research, there was a lot of things that baffled me in a lot of ways.
Like what? What sort of things look into?
One that baffled me the most, even though I would have to look up the name again, because I didn't mention the name in the book, but there's actually a plant that actually grows in the north of Queensland, or grew in the north of Queensland, and that was actually destroyed because it was proven that it actually heals cancer. And there was things like that I stumbled over, because when I first started writing this book, there was nothing other than the story about a murder. That's how this book started when I first started writing. And I have no idea how I actually ended up being in this whole medical thriller and all of that. I honestly can't explain it, because when I start writing a book, I just write and it takes me wherever it takes me. And I don't know how. Don't ask me how, because I just don't know. But I suddenly ended up with this cancer story, and I started reading the cancer. I started reading into research. I started reading into healing, pharmaceuticals, and all of that. And the more you dig, the deeper you dig, you find stuff that you go, whoa. And that's pretty much how this whole book came about. That's how it all happened, that I stumbled over so many things.
Wow. So it sounds like you got to also educate yourself a lot too, in terms of medical phrases and wow. What is the most interesting thing that you learned? I mean, I know you told us a really fascinating like conspiracy theory, but is there something you've learned that just kind of really sparked your interest?
I think this whole is the whole thing is interesting in this whole. I mean, we all know. I think we all know there's not there's a lot of conspiracy in the world. I'm not a big believer in the whole thing, but I would say there is a lot of conspiracy, and I think to actually read deeper into the whole thing, it was just a big learning curve how much is actually happening. I'm going to go in one scene that actually is in the book, or one of the conspiracies. And I know it sounds absolutely stupid, but it actually happened. And everything, all of my not theories, all of my conspiracies are actually researched. So as an example, there was a man who had his brain transplanted. And you would think that's absolutely ridiculous. It's not true, but it actually has been tried.
Wow.
So when you read into all of this, the things happen with monkeys, and you just go, whoa, seriously? So the deeper you go, it's just like you're gonna, at some point you're gonna stop, because you go, no, this can't be right. But it all happened, so it's really, yeah, it sounds ridiculous, but it is. When you start looking into it, you go, well, hang on, a monkey that tried to transplant a monkey head from one from one monkey to another body, and you go, why? But if you start reading into it, it seriously has happened. So yeah, sounds stupid, but it is true.
And the research that you've done, will that stand you in good stead for book 2?
I have started book 2, if you want to go.
I know. That's why I'm asking. So is the research that you've done for book 2, or the medical research for book 1, gonna help you with book 2?
Oh, absolutely, yes. Absolutely, yes. And it's definitely inspired me to go a bit deeper into, challenge and dig deeper in the internet. What else is there? What else has been tried in science? So I dug deep into the whole science, because that was a whole new subject to me, and I just got fascinated by the whole thing. Because I've never written a book like If Only He Never. Everything else before was just thrillers, or way before I even wrote English, everything was written in German. There were romance and family dramas. If Only He Never was my first one that I've ever even touched that subject. And I don't know why. I just, as I said, it just happened. It just came to me literally. Yeah,
Wow.
I can't explain it any different. Yeah.
No, that's amazing. Yeah, I'm the same way though. You and I have a similar start in that I didn't plan on being a writer, so the story just came to me, and I just decided one day I had to write a story. So I totally get that.
Yeah, it is. It's funny. We just do it, don't we?
Yeah, right. Like, I don't know. Some people, are blessed enough to know that they want to be a writer, and they do all the studying and they do all the planning, and then they, write and write and write. And then there's those of us who are like, we probably drive them nuts.
Yeah, probably do. Yeah. So are you a pantser or what is pantser or
a plotter?
Yeah.
I started it. I'm like you. I was the pantser for my first 2 books, but I've got my third one plotted, and I've got a side novel I'm working on that's plotted. So we'll see how plotting works out for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I've never tried plotting. I never tried. Always been a pantser.
Yeah. Did you find that well, first of all, do you write from start to finish, or do you write scenes as they come to you?
Themes, puzzles. Yeah. I just write. Normally I have a beginning, and then the rest they can be whatever. It can be. It took me ages to. There was one part in If Only He Never. There was just that one part, and I had the entire book finished, and there's just this one part where I couldn't get that one scene together. Why was she missing? And I was like, how? Why? And how do I bring Curtis and Laura back together? And I was like, there's got to be a way. And I just could not work it out until right at the end. And I was like, got to be a way. And then I found it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool. Oh my gosh. So where is your story set?
In San Diego.
This is fascinating to me. Have you been there before?
No.
Awesome.
That's why we have Google Earth. But I've
Yeah.
also got a friend. I've got a friend. She's living in San Diego, so that's why I also based it in San Diego, because if I had any questions specifically, I could contact her and say, "Hey, can you give me feedback there, etc.,
Yeah.
etc."
When you were writing, did you intend to come to an American publisher? Did that just happen as part of your querying process?
Yes. However, If Only Never wasn't the first one. I've written a trilogy before, which I queried. Just the first one of the trilogy I queried. And when I started looking into the publishing side, I realized there is just no publishing, not a big publishing world in Australia. And there's nothing in Switzerland anyway. Plus, they were the first books I've written in English as well, because everything before was in German. So it was a big challenge to actually write in English. And so I started looking into what actually is happening in the publishing world, and then stumbled over there was a website, doesn't exist anymore, but it was called H and Query Connect, I think.
Okay.
And I found people who I'm still in touch with today, and we were all on the same trip.
Yeah.
How do you find an agent? How do you find a publisher? How do you work a query, etc., etc.? And that was the longest journey, I think, in the whole thing, to learn
Okay.
how this whole industry actually works, because I had no idea how the whole thing worked. I knew nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. That, like, I'm a huge reader. I collect lots of books. Like, that's just one subject behind me. That's just Revolutionary War. I'm a huge reader. And it was stunning to come into the querying journey and really learn the behind the scenes and that whole thing. Like you said, how do you get an agent? What do you mean you have to write a cover letter called a query letter that's a specific format that they expect, and
Which changes.
right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
changes, yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. Oh, don't. Yeah. That'll be fun.
Between agents and publishers, that the format changes.
Right.
Yes, that too.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that dreaded synopsis where you're like, just put on your website, please. Do you want
500
the
words, one
page?
page, two page. Is it
Yeah.
single
Yeah.
space, double space?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. No industry
And
standards.
all I can always say, just follow the rules. Just stick to where every publisher is different, every agent is different. You just go. If they want one page, you send them one page. If they want a 350 query letter, that's all you send. So I think that's, yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have plans to translate If Only He Never to German?
Whoa, that's a big journey. My mom's celebrating again. That is, it's not as easy anymore. I've lost a lot of German in the meantime, as in yeah. I think English has a lot more words to describe a lot of things, especially when it comes to emotions. I don't know. It would take me a while to do that.
Because I think there'd
It's
be a
a little
market there.
it's a long, yeah, I know. Yeah, there will be a market there. You're right. Ooh, yes, I see you going.
Like
Which means, maybe I should do that, hey?
Yeah.
No, I don't know if CBG would be interested in it, would they?
Doesn't matter. It's your book.
My mum just says next to it, there's many people waiting.
including her. Oh. Do you have training as a writer?
No.
Okay. Did you learn that as part of the writing process? Did you do it after? Did you I got a book, I'm good.
I've been writing since I was little, but as I said, there were more short stories as well, besides
Yeah.
one book.
Yeah.
And then I didn't write for a long time. Even it was always nagging in the back and sort of, pick up the
Yeah.
pen. And it
Yeah.
was literally when I left my husband that I picked up the pen again, and I got seriously obsessed with writing, which really changed my subject. So I went from family dramas to killing people. Literally.
Divorce will do that, right?
No, yeah.
So
But
cathartic.
that's when it all yeah, so seriously started. I self-taught most of my English. My very first book in English I gave to a friend to read, and he came to me and said, "You can't just say he walked along the beach." He said he was walking. And I was like, "What are you talking about? Why is he walking?" And he said, "You're going to use, because he's still walking, he continues walking. So you can't just, he walked." So, so in the whole thing, in the whole process, I was like, "Oh, so you have to use those bloody gerunds or whatever, and then add adjectives and all of that." And I was like, right. So I really read into all of this and taught myself and learned and started reading. So that was mainly Harlan Coben, Lee Child, C.J. Box. They were the main books I read, in and out, just to get a style, just to get how I want to read and write and all of that. So yeah. And the more I read, the more I started to understand what I had to do, what English I had to use, and yeah.
That's amazing to teach yourself a genre, a language. That's really, you're amazing. And your book has so many wonderful reviews. Like, people just have wonderful things to say about your book anytime you see somebody talking about it. So it's
Yeah,
great.
no, it's good. I wish there was more. It's so hard to get reviews. That's another thing I have to learn. I have to get reviews and marketing and all of that. So yeah,
Oh,
it's still coming a little bit to a stop at the moment, due to um an accident. But anyway, so it will come, and just too good to, yeah, I've got to learn into all that as well, because I think marketing is, yeah, nothing happens without marketing. Simple as that.
right. Right. Yeah. You have a book, but then if nobody knows it's there, that's great. You got a book.
Yeah, that's right. And you need more than one book to get anywhere. So that's yeah.
That's true. And you have a lot that you're working on. So what are you working towards right now?
I have that trilogy. It's finished. That was finished before before If Only He Never. And I decided to rewrite the first one, to make it more appealing, to be more suspense, to make it less obvious who the bad person is. It's about a man who's pretty much wakes up in the morning, and when he goes to the office, he finds a shirt and a business card in his bathroom, and the shirt is full of blood, and he doesn't know why, and it's his own shirt, and he goes to work and he finds out his boss has been killed, and so there's little things coming his way all the time where he believes that he is the killer, and the cops believe he's the killer as well, and he doesn't know how to prove that he's not.
Yeah.
And so yeah, that it's just, and suddenly then his supervisor is killed as well, and he's like, sort of, what's happening? He um can't find out why this, or what's actually happening to him, and then you think that his wife is behind and his friends, and you find the whole world collapses around him, and until he finally finds out who the bad person is. So it's a long. All my friends who've been reading it or read it, they sort of say they never guessed who the actual bad person was in the end, which is the goal. Yeah,
Yeah,
sort of, yeah,
that's a great
yeah,
compliment.
yeah.
What is the hardest part of writing suspense? Because I think mysteries and suspense are something that I don't know that I could ever touch, because because I think that would be the part that would make me so nervous. I don't want people to guess.
I think, I mean, I'm a pantser. I don't know how a plotter does suspense. I have absolutely no idea. To me, being a pantser is it's probably the hardest is to not lose the plot.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're really gonna make sure, okay, this has happened, gonna make sure why, who is behind this. And when I write, I sometimes it can even be a slight sentence might give something away or lead in purposely on a different direction. But I have to remember that specific sentence to make sure that I don't lead into a wrong direction in a way, which then gets confusing. So I think that's the hardest to really stick to the plot, but redirect into a different direction in a way. That makes sense.
It does. And actually, I don't know what I'm talking about. I have big mysteries in my book, and the who is the darkness, and or what is the darkness, and how did my main character get into the past. So I guess that I'm trying to draw out for 5 books. So I guess I do have a little bit of mystery, don't I, that I have to figure out how to deal with. So did you get surprised by the ending then, writing it for your book?
Yes. I think pretty much in I think in all the books I never knew the ending that I've written. I was always like, especially let's say the one of the one I'm rewriting at the moment.
Yeah.
I never knew to the end who was actually the bad person.
Yeah.
And I was like, who is it actually? Who is actually doing all the bad stuff? And, and I was like, it could be that one, it could even be his wife. And I was like, who would make the most sense until I figured out the person. Oh wow, yeah, nobody would guess that one. And it's the same with If Only He Never Was. Took me ages to get to an end, but that was also the book was originally way over 120,000 words.
Wow.
And I had to cut it down. And if I wanted to get into the publishing world, I had to be under the 100,000 because that would be can't be over 100. So I was way over 120,000. I've got to cut it down. And lots of scenes I had to cut out because I just you've got to kill your darlings, as they say.
Yeah. Do you think you'll end up reusing any of those darlings, or at least pieces of it in the sequels?
I reckon so, yeah. Yeah, there's two scenes in my head already that I will definitely reuse. Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, even in my trilogy that I finished, there was one scene I just didn't want to kill, and I used it in my 3rd book. And you never delete your scenes. Never. Because you never know if you can reuse them somewhere else or even another book. You don't know.
Yeah.
Or for marketing.
Yeah.
True. Yeah, it's a big thing on my website right now for my members only sections. I've started adding for them deleted scenes that I know I can't recycle just because of where my characters are. So that's fun. Cool. Did you find in revisions that you had to change the story in any notable way? Like did the plot shift? You said you discovered this idea of cancer being the underlying thing. Did any of that change or develop through revisions as opposed to through just the first writing?
Not so much through revisions, no. More while I was writing it that it went into a direction I was not expecting at all. But no, once I was literally hooked to go deeper into those conspiracies. So once I got hooked with that there was no return of following that track, because it was just yeah. I still can't explain it. I have no idea.
Is there and I don't necessarily mean in relation to your book, but just generally, is there a conspiracy out there, or maybe an urban legend that you you find yourself attracted to that you kind of wish is real, hope is real?
Not really, actually. No,
Okay.
I don't. No, it's no, I don't necessarily believe in unicorns and all of those things. No, it's no, I can't think of no, not really. Yeah, no.
Okay.
Yeah.
I know I've talked in a previous episode with someone about Scotland and my trek to find Nessie in Loch
Oh,
Ness.
actually, no, yeah, I have been there. Yes, maybe Nessie. Yeah.
Nessie's one where they just had a lot of new Nessie resurgence yeah, sightings supposedly. I don't know. Need to get back to Scotland, I guess. But
There's no way it's
It
still
is so
living.
don't
well,
you believe in magic, Sev?
baby Nessies.
Yeah, maybe baby Nessies that I can believe, but it's not the same Nessie. Come on, people.
Yeah, no, baby Nessies. It is, however, if when you are at that lake at Loch Ness and you are at that water, there's something. It's very hard to describe, but it is just maybe because it's so dark, because you normally have a blue water and a blue lake and all of that sort of thing. It is so dark, but that you really think there's got to be something there. So
Yeah.
it's very mystical to be there. Yeah.
But I mean,
Yeah.
can't we scan it? Or we've got submarines, there's got to be a
Yeah, sure.
way to.
Well, they've done that, yeah. Yeah. But it kind of takes away the magic though, too.
I don't know,
I
it's hiding very well, Steph.
It's like UFO photography. I mean, hello, people. We can photograph all sorts of stuff, but we can't catch the UFO and we can't catch Leslie. So come on, people. Better photographs.
No, there are conspiracy theories that we have in fact caught aliens and UFOs, and everybody, government's hiding it. So
It's a
I don't know.
blip.
Yeah.
It does this. And then they say it's moving very fast and it was cube shaped, and all you're seeing is this blur going.
His
It's the
cursor
same.
on the screen while the recording.
Yeah, and it's the same with ghosts or demons or angels. And you're like, okay, I can see someone just killed someone with CCTV camera, but I can't see a freaking ghost. Yeah, yeah, whatever.
Oh,
I love it.
it was funny.
My mom's sitting next to me. She's laughing her head off.
Oh my goodness. Okay. So here's a question for you. What's maybe one aspect of yourself that appears in your book or inspired part of your book?
Whoa, me. Oh God, no, nothing really. Me. No.
Do you have any commonalities with your main characters?
Um, Probably. I think as with Curtis, probably. I think I'm quite a chatty person, but also very serious in a way. And I think that's what I sort of translate with Curtis as well, as being when he's in a situation where he doesn't feel comfortable, he's maybe very nervous in a way, but he has depth, and to me it's very important to have characters with depth. I don't like shallow characters. So to the main characters, I go into how they feel and even go into tears if need be, even with a main male character. So that's probably sort of that, yeah. Interestingly, I don't know, and I will never be able to explain that as well, is even I'm a woman, I mainly have male main characters. Maybe because I was always kind of a tomboy. I was playing soccer and all that sort of. I have no idea.
I actually did
I'm,
wonder
I'm
about, yeah, I wondered about that, and sorry to interrupt you. And I wasn't sure if I should ask you a question about that because that's really interesting to me. Do you find it difficult to write a male main character?
No, not at all. It's actually easier than writing a female character. Even I'm full on female, okay, I'm not going to he, she thing road.
No, that's wow. Okay, cool.
Yeah,
Um,
it's funny. It's always been, don't know why. Yeah,
yeah.
no idea.
No, well, and I guess that maybe that isn't a fair question on my part, because I know growing up, I don't know if I'd say I was a tomboy, but my best friends were always guys.
Yeah, same.
So yeah. So maybe
Yeah.
that's that connection. Yeah.
Same.
But writing guys are easier.
Do you think?
Oh yeah.
I am so not there.
They're just
Huh.
because men are so analytical, right? So their motives are always clear. And I don't know if you've listened to Mark Gungor. He's an American pastor, and he talks about the difference between women and men.
Mhm.
And it's brilliant.
Okay.
Just Google it and watch it. It's called Laugh Your Way to a Better Marriage, his entire series. And he talks about how men have a nothing box in their brain. So they'll go there and they go into their nothing box when they're watching soccer or fishing, and it's their box. So when you actually ask a man, what are you thinking? He can honestly tell you nothing. I am thinking
Yeah.
nothing, because they're in their nothing
Yeah.
box. And he says that men think in boxes because they're analytical. So when you talk about a subject matter, they go and they pull out that one box, right? And they talk about what's in that box. So
Yeah.
and
That's
a
why I
woman,
can't do two things at the same time.
yes, and a woman is like their brain is like a ball of string, and it's connected with what he calls emotion. So we can jump from point to point to point to point because it's all connected by that same emotion, which is why men struggle to follow us. And my husband often says to me, "So how did we get onto this subject?" So when he'll say to me, "Stop, why are we on this subject now? What is your train of thought to get to there?" So men are just so much easier to write. Their point of view.
Yeah.
Their motives are always
probably.
clear.
I know. Yeah.
Huh. Okay.
But I always like to give the men also a bit of a softer side where they sort of struggle and crumble and fall apart, and then come out of it again and
Yeah,
find their
because
strengths.
they're
That's not it.
superheroes with weaknesses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. That's cool. Tanja, because our publisher does do a lot of romance, is there a love story in the midst of your book?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. There is. Yes. Even they sort of Curtis and Laura. It's a love-hate sort of trying to find a way together, but there's also Laura is full of secrets. So he's not sure how much he can trust her, because there is one specific event that issue makes or breaks them. And specifically when he finds out the relationship of her to a detective. I'm just going to keep that like that, very brief in that one, because that is really an event that happened in her life that is actually becoming dangerous for him in the whole chase of the scientist that's after him. So if she's turning the wrong way, it would mean death to him. So he's very, very careful how much can he go down the love track or not. So that's not even really, even at the end, I think it's not, it's somebody said to me, well, they're still not in the end. Are they now together or what? And I'm saying, well, yeah. Yeah, it's still very open, which leads in some way to the sequel, probably, yeah.
Is the sequel a carry through of the story then?
Yeah.
Okay. Same main
Yeah,
characters?
yes. With additional characters, with surprises planned, but I don't know how they fit in yet. Besides one new person. I have no idea yet. I'll see. I'll see what happens.
And have you had a
I'm at
moment
the
when you're
moment in
writing?
this.
Did you have a moment in your writing where a clue from the beginning ties up with a clue later on, and you're like, "Oh, I didn't even know that this is going to
Oh,
be needed"?
absolutely.
Because I mean, that's
Totally.
part of
Totally.
pantsing.
Yeah, totally. And it was actually quite funny in the whole editing process with the editor. Sometimes she said, well, we don't know yet what happens there. And shouldn't you tell me yet now what? And I was like, if I say that now, and if we give the solution now, then the whole book will fall apart. All of this is not coming together till right to the end. And then everything goes, and this is what the whole book is about. So it's literally you go, I want to know, and it should be a page turner, and that's what I get as a result from readers. Yes, you want to know what's happening, so that's what I like reading too. I don't want to know at the beginning who is what and how it is all together. I want to read something, and at the end you go, oh, that's what I want to write and what I'm writing. Yeah.
That's cool. I kind of struggled with that with my editor because I do know the end of my 5-part series. I know where I'm going. I know the who, what, where's, and well, maybe not the where, how to get there in time. And I'm like, do I tell you so you know what the ultimate last chapter is leading to, or do you just discover it on the way and trust that I know what I'm doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
You can tell her now because she's not with Champagne anymore.
Yeah, I know. Oh, you had to bring that up.
Sorry.
No, that's okay. We are still friends. We message almost daily, and so she actually is waiting at the end of this weekend. I think I'm going to be in a position to give her my second book, and she's going to do a read through for me before I officially turn it in. So we'll see what she thinks. Plus, I know she just.
Is that still going to be with Champagne Book Group?
I hope so. Yeah, I mean they get first pass, first on the
First
series.
refusal is what it's called.
First refusal, which no refusal. They're just gonna love it, right? I'm sure there'll be another editor. Hopefully want to take up my story. Yeah.
Well, I don't have an editor at the moment myself, so.
Oh, who was your editor?
I had Jude.
Oh,
Judy.
Yes.
Jude. Sorry, now I got it. Jude. Sorry, Jude.
Yeah, okay.
And then I because she I think her daughter had cancer, and then she couldn't follow through, and then I Cassie. So Cassie was my final editor then, yeah.
There you go.
Because there was nowhere else.
Yeah, so you submit your second book to Cassie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And she'll review it.
All right.
I have to go through the main door. And then get reassigned. That's okay.
No, you can actually just ask Cassie.
I did, and that's what she said.
Oh, is it? Okay.
No, I asked because she had done a last minute content edit on my book too before it was published, and so that's why I asked her. And anyway, but that's okay. We'll get there.
Maybe I have to do the same. Who knows? Oh no, maybe I have to go through the main door again so as well. I don't know.
You go straight to Cassie because she was your editor.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's how it works.
No, there you go.
That is the nice thing. Yeah. Once you have
learning all the secrets now.
But I mean, Kiersten has to go through Cassie as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's Cassie's the main door.
True.
Yeah. I go through Renee. Renee's my editor.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Very cool. Maybe we'll wrap on this question because we're out of time. Is there a genre that you think you might try in the future? Or will you stick with suspense?
No, I don't think so. No. I think I do like thriller and all this whole around and conspiracy and all that. I think I have found my genre here.
That's good.
Yeah. And maybe
We're not going to hold you to it.
No, I know, no, but yeah. If anything, I'll probably bring a bit more Australia into it. So yeah, maybe
Maybe base it in
Instead-
Australia.
I
Instead of San Diego, move it to Australia.
Yeah. I think
Well, the sequel of If Only He Never is based in Australia.
Yeah.
Because it ends in Australia, so I can tell you that much. I've given that little secret away now. Yes, so it ends in Australia, and it will continue on in Australia, where I've traveled a lot, outback Australia. So yeah, yeah.
All right, we are out of time. So Tanja, where do we find you online?
Facebook. I'm on what is it called? Linktree.
Yeah, Linktree. Yes.
Linktree. Yeah.
Okay.
Correy. They're all on there. BookBop. Or you find me on Twitter. I'm probably most active on Twitter, I'd say.
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
And we'll
So
put the links below.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe
Oh, and I've got my website, of course. Don't forget my website.
Yeah.
Your website will definitely be down below. So that's a good tie-in for us. And Seb, maybe I'll see if I can find that Love Your Way to Nothing. We'll see if I can add it below too. That'll be fun. So
Okay.
So show us your gorgeous cover again before we say goodbye.
Absolutely. That's If Only Never.
Check it out. Links are below. Check out our website. If you have any questions for Tanja that we haven't asked or anything you'd like to see in the future with our guests, please put them in the comments below. Please like, follow, and subscribe depending where you're watching. Thank you so much, Tanja. Thank you for joining us and playing, what time in the world is it so that we can be here with you.
Thank you for having me.
Very welcome.
That was a lot of fun.
Bye, everyone.
Everyone have a great day.
Okay. Bye.